Welcome, friends, to this edition of the MorskFeed number 14, which is entitled, of course, the real interview with Kim Jong-un. Yes, my friends, I, alone among all the other journalists in the world, have obtained an exclusive interview with the midget homunculus dictator, Kim Jong-un. Of my studio audience. At the end of this podcast, I will conduct the real live interview via satellite at the high-tech Morsk studios here with the real Kim Jong-un, evil, squat, poorly quaffed dictator of the North Korea. He has given Morsk and Morsk alone the permission to conduct this interview with the proviso that I remain in this country. As if I would want to go to North Korea to starve to death under a reprobate dictator with egregious hair. We have developed a modicum of trust over the years, during which I have advised him in a number of situations, national and international, given that I am a recognized expert in various champagne of intercontinental intrigue. I will say no more. Needless to say, it will be quite interesting. Thank you. And don't forget to go to my website, morskfeed.com, and of course to buy my book, A Sexual Odyssey. It is not erotica, but it is sexy as hell. And of course to view this podcast on podomatic.com and YouTube, all of which are very possible for those of you who have the slightest brain function whatsoever. On a personal note, friends, in these challenging times of nuclear threats related to a half-baked B-list comedy, random beheadings by unfashionable terrorist types, political inactivity, and racial disparagement. It is difficult to keep one's head above the water, the proverbial water. Not the real water, the proverbial water, of course. Thank you. My friends, one movement, and one movement alone, offers a minuscule window of optimism in this chaotic dystopian nightmare of the universe. That movement, of course, peanut butter for peace. Peanut butter for peace, an international endeavor destined to change the course of our pathetic humanity. Unless, of course, you have the peanut allergy, in which case you can forget about it. And now to this week's stories. Idina Menzel singing the tune Let It Go from Frozen on ABC's New Year's Rockin' Eve missed a few of the high notes. She was then criticized severely on the social media. In defending herself, she said, quote, among other things, quote, I am more than the notes I hit, unquote. When asked what more she was, she replied, quote, I am thinking. Good luck, Id. A group of defectors from North Korea, and of course we're going to have a live interview via satellite with the leader of North Korea at the end of this pogrom, plan on sending thousands of copies, defectors from North Korea plan on sending thousands of copies of the films they interview across the border on hot air balloons in an effort to promote unrest. Why they would want to promote unrest, I do not know. When asked to command, the North Korean dictator, Kim Jong-un, my personal friend, said, quote, "That crappy film, couldn't they send copies of Les Mis instead?" Sorry, Kim. Just have to accept what they're going to send, I suppose. Miley Cyrus and Madonna have recently declared their love for one another by posting a photoshopped Instagram pictures in which Miley replaces Britney Spears in the infamous MTV kiss. You all remember this infamous kiss. When asked to command, Britney stated, quote, "That was Madonna? I thought I was kissing Snooki." Take your meds, Brit. Take your meds. By the way, other, you lovely piece of half-baked French pastry. I adore you. I love you. Call me. At your first convenience. This is insolence. The actor James Woods called Al Sharpton, quote, "a creepy anti-Semite and a pig," unquote, because of his handling of the recent protests about the police and subsequent killing of 2 police officers. In response, Sharpton said, quote, "I may be a creepy anti-Semite, but a pig? I'm calling for a boycott of all of Wood's films. Wait, I can't remember any." Just to Google it, Al. North Korea, again, I'm going to conduct a personal interview with my friend Kim Jong-un at the end of this broadcast, has called Sony Films The Interview an act of war, because it shows the assassination of Kim Jong-un, my personal friend. They hacked Sony's computers and even threatened a 911 style attack on moviegoers, prompting Sony to withdraw the film. In response, North Korea issued a statement saying, quote, "We'll retract the threat if Josh Rogan will send us an autograph and James Franco will finally admit he's gay." So far, no word from the actor. Poor Jimbo. By the way, I think Stolichnaya and Percocet go well together, don't you? I do. Well, my friends, now to address a few comments from the global Twitterverse to which the most high-tech studios are connected. Some have changed their names slightly so as to remain anonymous. The first comes from a Jim Kardashian who writes, quote, "Is Kim Kardashian's butt the brightest star in the universe, or is that Cassiopeia?" Well, Jim, although I am not an astronomer, I can assure you it is the butt, not some constellation of stars light years away in another galaxy. The next one is from a Siley Myris, who writes, quote, "I am so hot for you, there are sweat marks on my crotch, and I'm oozing a frothy green foam from my tits," unquote. Hashtag suck on it. Well, Siley, all I can say is get in line, you oily, lascivious slut. The last one is from a Balak Aldwin. Balak Aldwin, who writes, a quote, "I am going to personally cut your face and testicles with a shiny Ginsu knife borrowed from my girlfriend, then whip your butt with a long silvery barbed wire, you shit," unquote. Well, Balak, thank you for those thoughtful comments, which I can tell are quite heartfelt. However, I must warn you that I am fully trained and certified in the Royal Canadian Self-Defense System, which means in 2 seconds flat I would have your face stuffed up your rectum and your intestines disemboweled through your nasal passage. Enough said. Thank you, my wonderful, slightly demented studio audience, some of whom are thugs. However, this is insolence. I am now going, my friends. This is the moment you have all been waiting for. I am about to contact Kim Jong-un by satellite and have a frank discussion with him about the apparent need by his country to declare a big comedy with 2-bit secretly gay and washed up comedians as an act of war. Come in, Un, you swarthy, imbecilic dictator. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, yes, I think we have your friend Stefan Morsky. I think we have a connection. My first question to the dictator is as follows. What kind of pompous idiocy is it that makes you declare a 2-bit B-grade comedy an act of war, proving that your country is the most imbecilic banana republic on the face of the earth? No offense. Come in, Kim, come in. Roughly translated, that means fuck you, you insipid pissant. Yes, we're getting some static interference. Yeah, that is not necessarily better. We're getting some static interference. Okay, next question, Mr. Dictator. Do you believe you have any credibility left in the international arena, you half-witted homunculus? No advance. Roughly translated, that means your testicles are rotten fruit. Certainly possible. And finally, Mr. Dictator, do you think a stubby, poorly coiffed mini-me can run a country, even one as pathetically unsavory as yours? No offense. Well, roughly translated, that means lick a possum a poop. Well, Mr. Dictator, I thank you for those carefully chosen words of inspiration. Give my best to Dennis Rodman. Adieu. Adieu. Oh, well, my France, there you have it, inspiring words, which were roughly translated, soon you will die of public castration. Yes, my friends, that is it. Yeah, you have it. An exclusive interview with the most obliging Kim Jong-un, seen only here at the Morsk Studios, that you will find this. These are words of inspiration from one of the world's greatest leaders, heard right here on this stage only. Yes. Well, my friends, oh yes, wait a minute. It is time to scan my shirt. By the way, I have a picture of Kim Jong-un right here, if you wish to see it. It's time to scan my shirt, so those of you with barcode scanners may go like a speed flight to my website, which for those of you imbeciles may have forgotten. Just a minute, is morskfeed.com. But yes, scan me, baby, oh, scan me, scan me. Well, it is time to wrap up this fascinating, groundbreaking episode of the MorskFeed number 14, real interview with Kim Jong-un. Don't forget my website, morskfeed.com, and to buy my book. I love you all. I bid you adieu. You are my one inspiration. And I shut it off. I said shut it off, you idiot. What, I have to do everything myself?